This video was made in collaboration with NARUTOPEDIA. If you'd like to learn more, check out the link in the description. The Life of Killer B from Naruto. Killer B is a shinobi from Kumogakure. He is the most recent Jinchuriki of the 8 tails, though unlike his predecessors, he was able to befriend it and hone its power for Kumo's benefit. Despite being responsible for the village's protection, B aspires to be the world's greatest rapper. Welcome to the Amagi. In today's video, we're going over the life of Killer B. Before we begin, we publish a new video every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Background. At a young age, he was among several other children who were gathered by the 3rd Raikage and Dodai in order to select a partner for his son A. Out of all the children gathered, he was the only person able to successfully perform the lightning release double lariat with A. As such, he was given the name B, and A stated they would be brothers from that day on. Since the age of 5, B has been best friends of Motoe, whom he'd always greeted with a fist bump. After A's cousin, the Jinchuriki of Gyuki, lost control and killed Motoe's father along with 7 other ninja on that day, B was chosen as the next Jinchuriki. Soon afterwards, B suffered from similar prejudices against Jinchuriki, not too different from that the villagers of Konoha and Sunagakure had against Naruto Uzumaki and Gaara respectively. However, he kept smiling and pushed himself to be the best Jinchuriki that he could be, so his brother wouldn't be politically hurt as the 4th Raikage. After his father's death, Motoe tried to kill B, believing that B's death would also kill Gyuki and avenge his late father, but B disarmed him easily, and despite the attempt on his life, bore him no ill will, which led Motoe not to speak to B for 30 years out of shame. B would later train with his brother on an island in the Land of Lightning, where there he would find the Falls of Truth. There he learned how to control Gyuki in an amazingly short period of time. Sometime after this training, B, alongside A and other Kumo shinobi, confronted Minato Namikaze and his small squad. When Minato moved to counter A's attack, B used a tentacle to push A out of the way, causing shock to the Konoha shinobi that he was Gyuki's Jinchuriki. The two from this encounter, Minato would come to have much respect for B and his abilities. Minato even stated that B acted as a true shinobi killer, thus giving him the title of Killer. Sometime since then, much like Naruto, B had become beloved in Kumo as the village's hero, or as Motoe called him, the hero of heroes. When A became the Raikage, he forbade B from fully transforming into the 8 tails and restricted him from leaving the village, saying instead that he would become the guardian of the village and attack from within its walls, to protect him from meeting the same fate as his adoptive father. Sometime later, when B learned from pestering Darui that Konoha and Suna were hosting together in impromptu Chunin exams, B saw this as an opportunity to give a show for the attendees. A, however, anticipated his young brother's actions and had Darui and C stop him. Pain's assault. While leaving the Valley of Clouds and Lightning after training, B was confronted by Taka. He was immediately attacked by Suigetsu, whose sword B took and used to overpower Jugo. Sasuke Uchiha then stepped in and used his own sword to take back Suigetsu's. Impressed, B brought out his 7 swords and attacked Sasuke, his unorthodox fighting style preventing Sasuke from tracking his movements with his Sharingan. Sasuke tried to gain the upper hand by channeling lightning through his sword, but B did the same with one of his swords, removing the advantage, and plunged the other 6 into Sasuke's torso, dealing him a critical wound. Before he could finish off Sasuke, Suigetsu and Jugo came to his defense while Karin retreated with Sasuke and healed him. B was able to damage Suigetsu's sword, but Taka was also able to force him back. Sasuke was healed by Karin and the fight continued. B became bored with the fight and tried to leave, but was tracked by Karin. With escape not an option, B entered his version 1 form and attacked Taka. Taka was able to elude him and Sasuke caught him in a genjutsu, which Gyuki helped B break out of, allowing B to hit the unaware Sasuke with a lightning release lariat, blasting a hole in Sasuke's chest, again mortally wounding him. Deciding to finish things off, B fully transformed into his tailed beast. Then he fired a tailed beast ball, which Suigetsu was able to protect the rest of Taka from by using himself as a shield. Sasuke, specially healed by Jugo, used Amaterasu on B. B rampaged in pain and almost crushed Karin with one of his tentacles. Sasuke severed the tentacle, and B used the opportunity to escape and fake his capture by substituting the severed tentacle and leaving behind a decoy. Taka were unaware of this and delivered B to the Akatsuki, while the real B left the village to go on vacation. While later trying to extract Gyuki from this B's body, Akatsuki discovered that it was a fake. 5 Kage Summit. Free from his confinement to Kumogakure, B sought out Sabu to advance his music career. In the midst of training, B was found by Kisame Hoshigaki, who tracked his powerful chakra with his Samehada. While Sabu attacked him, B struck from behind with one of his lightning-imbued swords. Not only was Kisame able to block their attacks with Samehada, but B's lightning disappeared when it makes contact. B entered a version 1 form and attempts to headbutt him, but his chakra shroud disappeared too. Sabu realized that Samehada was absorbing B's chakra. B entered a 7-tailed version 1 form and attacked Kisame again, but Samehada absorbs most of his chakra. Upon realizing that Samehada could only absorb 6 tails at a time, B entered a version 2 form and created chakra bones to use a more powerful lightning release lariat. Kisame was badly damaged and Samehada was only able to absorb his version 2 chakra, returning B to a version 1 form. Samehada used the chakra it absorbed from B to heal Kisame, who quickly merged with Samehada and created a dome of water around them. B tried to get Sabu and Ponta out of the dome before they drowned, but the water dome moved with Kisame. B drew Kisame away from Sabu and Ponta in order to force him to release them and pursue B. Once they were free, B confronted him, only for Kisame to render all of B's counter-effects ineffective and slowly absorb his chakra all the while. When B lost consciousness, Kisame dissipated the water dome. To prevent V from escaping, Kisame tried to cut off his legs with Samehada. However, Samehada had grown fond of B's tailed beast chakra during the battle and betrayed Kisame. In addition to not letting him harm B, it transferred some of the chakra it stole back to him. Kisame kicked it away and tried to cut off B's legs with one of B's own swords, but the Raikage and his bodyguards arrived to stop him, having noticed Kisame's water dome. Samehada continued to replenish B's reserves, allowing B and A to perform a lightning release double lariat to decapitate Kisame. A then reprimanded B for running away from the village. When they returned to Kumogakure, B now carrying Samehada, they were greeted by the villagers at the main gate. B's students, Omoi and Karui, asked about Samehada. They and B were unaware that Kisame, having faked his death, was hiding inside Samehada to gather intel on Kumo and the Shinobi Alliance during the meetings B later attended, and didn't pay attention to. 4th Shinobi World War Countdown. Shortly before the 4th Shinobi World War began, the Alliance decided to send the remaining Jinchuriki to Kumogakure's island turtle to hide. B arrived there first, allowing him to defend fellow Jinchuriki Naruto Uzumaki from the island's giant squid when he arrived. Shortly after this, Naruto approached B to help gaining control of the Nine Tails. B refused, having noticed an evil within Naruto, and also due to Naruto accidentally insulting his rap. Later, when the squid attacked Motoi, B came to his aid. After the squid was subdued, Motoi asked B why he saved him, despite surely knowing about Motoi's earlier attempt on his life. B's reaction was to act like it had never happened and did not hesitate to reconcile with him. After observing the reunion between B and Motoi, Naruto was able to overcome his inner hatred. With it vanquished, B took him to the secret temple behind the Falls of Truth to allow him to battle the Nine Tails for control of its chakra. When Naruto first opened the seal and released the Nine Tails, B tried to help him contain it. His abilities were limited while in Naruto's subconscious, and he was only able to block a tailed beast ball from the Nine Tails before being knocked out of the fight. Naruto eventually emerged victorious and communicated all that he went through to B with a fist bump. Naruto then demonstrated his new control of the Nine Tails, allowing him to expose Kisame's presence. Kisame fled with Samehada and B pursued him. Samehada tried to return to B, allowing Kisame an opportunity to absorb his chakra. When he recovered, B flung Might Guy after Kisame. Guy was able to capture him, but Kisame committed suicide to prevent the group from interrogating him. They tried to check the intel Kisame had with him, only to be imprisoned while a shark swam away with the intel. B tried to catch the shark after he freed himself, but was unsuccessful. Fearing an imminent Akatsuki attack, the island's animal population was moved indoors. Because Naruto was not allowed to know about the ongoing war, B helped keep Naruto distracted while the other members of the group fought the Akatsuki outside. 4th Shinobi World War Confrontation. To keep Naruto occupied, B started helping him gain control of his new Nine Tails chakra mode, first by having him use his chakra arms to stack blocks in a perfect column. When Naruto mastered this, they moved on to transforming into the Nine Tails. The Nine Tails would not cooperate with Naruto on this, leaving him unable to use the tailed beast ball. They instead decided to practice with Naruto's standard techniques to see how Nine Tails chakra affected them. Naruto began with his Rasengan, which B recognized as being based on the tailed beast ball. B encouraged him to focus on mastering this in this new form. During training, Naruto sent some of the Nine Tails chakra elsewhere. B tried to convince him that it was nothing, determined to keep Naruto in the training room so he couldn't find out about the war. He nevertheless let Naruto leave to go to the bathroom, unaware that it was a lie from Naruto. When Naruto didn't return, B went looking for him, but instead found Iruka Umino, Naruto having found out about the war, and headed off to try and stop it. Iruka requested that B protect Naruto, and after recognizing Iruka as a positive influence from fist-bumping with Naruto, B agreed and went after Naruto. When the Eight Tails protested, B reminded him that they were still training and stated that real-world experience would always be faster than training. He caught up to Naruto, and the two teamed up to break through the self-repairing barrier to escape from the island. They then headed for the battlefield. When en route, they were intercepted by A and the 5th Hokage. B stated that he thought Tsunade was attractive. B tried to convince his brother to let them pass, promising to keep Naruto safe from Akatsuki. A was not convinced by his words, and when Naruto promised to use force to escape, the Raikage threatened to kill him. B blocks the latter's attack and informed his brother that he must be willing to kill both of them. A claimed to have no problem with this, but B, unbelieving, bumped fists with him to remind him of all they had been through together. B further stated that since A became the Raikage, he had failed to see B's development in strength and had therefore underestimated him. Still unconvinced, both he and Naruto tried to combat him, but struggled doing so as A manages to fight them off. B and A later simultaneously hit each other with respective lightning release lariats, with B overpowering his brother. B explained how he overpowered A with his lightning release lariat. His true strength, along with Naruto's, came from the people that believed in them, not just the beasts inside of them. A eventually pushed B out of the way and activated his lightning release armor again, seemingly intending to kill Naruto. Naruto dodged A, who revealed that he had attacked in order to test Naruto. Impressed, he and the Hokage let them pass. While en route with Naruto, the two encountered Itachi Uchiha and Nagato. As the battle commenced suddenly with Itachi being forced to use fire release Great Fireball technique, B used Samehada to slice through the attack, effectively saving both him and Naruto, although Samehada was unhappy about being used to cut through hot flames. As Itachi appeared behind B suddenly and used the fire release Phoenix Sage Flower Nail Crimson technique, B countered with his transformed arm. B then used a tentacle to grab Itachi, but only for him to disappear in a flurry of crows. As Itachi told B not to look into his eyes, Gyuki broke B out of the genjutsu that he had already been caught in. He then charged Itachi using his 7 swords. Itachi retreated onto Nagato's summoned bird. As Itachi activates his Mangekyo Sharingan, B tries to stop him by throwing his sword, but it was repelled by Nagato. As a result of the Sharingan use, Itachi activated a crow he had stored in Naruto earlier, which was able to free him from Kabuto's control. Itachi, now on Naruto and B's side, explained to Naruto and B why the crow had a Mangekyo Sharingan and how he got it. Nagato, after recovering from Itachi's attack and being completely controlled by Kabuto, snuck behind them with his chameleon summon and used Shinra Tensei to attack Killer B and Naruto. Nagato appeared behind B and tried to attack him, but B went into his version 2 transformation and countered Nagato's attack with a lightning release lariat. Nagato used the Predapath's ability to absorb B's chakra, causing him to regain a youthful appearance. Seeing Naruto in dire straits with his own soul being removed, B moved to attack Nagato. Nagato, sharing vision with his own chameleon summon and the King of Hell, intercepted B by using his Asura Path abilities. Before Nagato could fatally injure B and remove Naruto's soul, they were rescued by Itachi's Susanoo. As Nagato used Chibaku Tensei in an effort to trap them, Itachi told them to attack the center of the sphere in an attempt to dispel the technique. With the combined force of B's Tailed Beast Ball, Itachi's Yasuka Magatama, and Naruto's Wind Release Rasen Shuriken, the sphere was dispelled. B watched on as Itachi's Sword of Totsuka began to seal Nagato, who passes on his final words to Naruto before passing on into the afterlife. After Itachi claims that he will stop the summoning in Pure World Reincarnation Technique, B voiced his doubts and recalled that they're not able to kill the reincarnated ninja, just seal them away. Itachi reminded them again that no matter how infallible a technique may seem, it always had a weak point. As Naruto stated that he would end the war and attempted to create shadow clones, he reverted to his normal self, having used up too much of the Nine Tails' chakra. After Itachi told Naruto not to try and shoulder everything himself, B told him that he had made a promise to Iruka to protect him. B was later scolded by Gyuki for taking too long to urinate and for letting Naruto go ahead of them. While Naruto's clone contacts them mentally, wanting help for fighting the reincarnated Third Raikage, he asked B to let them speak to Gyuki, which B refused while urinating. However, the clone still got to speak to the beast because it could overhear mentally. Later in the anime, B was met by Motoi on orders by A to aid B. Soon afterwards, they were met by the surprise appearance of the reincarnated Blue B. To their further surprise, Blue B still possessed the ability to access Gyuki's demon cloak and enter version 2 mode. Caught off guard by this, the controlled Blue Bee launched a tailed beast ball at them. Samehara, however, acted first and consumed the blast. Bee then entered version 2 and clashed with his predecessor. Not understanding how this was possible, Gyuki asked Blue Bee how he could still use the demon's power. Blue Bee explained that his sudden rampage from 30 years ago was in fact orchestrated by Orochimaru, who harvested some of Gyuki's severed horn during the chaos. Blue Bee also explained that said genetic material was used as a medium to recreate Gyuki's power. Seeing that Blue Bee's demon powers and immortal body were too much for him to handle alone, Bee decided to retreat. Motoe tried to help, only to be defeated quickly. Seeing Motoe in trouble, Bee quickly counterattacked to save his childhood friend. Shocked that Bee had actually found true friends who accept him for who and what he is, Blue Bee realized that Bee had in fact found what Blue Bee could not to become a fully realized Jinchuriki. Happy to see that Bee had found his own happiness and succeeded where he could not, Blue Bee was able to break the summoning contract and return to the afterlife. Fourth Shinobi World War, Climax. After catching up to Naruto, the two Jinchuriki ran into Tobi with his 6 paths of pain. After a short skirmish with the other Jinchuriki and conversing with Gyuki about the Jinchuriki and Yugito's fate, Bee inquired about the other Madara that Naruto was speaking of. Looking on, smiling as Naruto told Tobi that it wasn't all bad living with a tailed beast inside them, he declared that he would go first before staring in shock as the other Jinchuriki began their tailed beast transformations. Shocked that they still had their tailed beast skills, Bee attacked Fu head-on nonetheless. After she dodged several of his and Samehara's attacks, Naruto informed him of the shared field of vision that the 6 paths of pain possessed using the Rinnegan. Catching Naruto, Bee fled the vicinity after seeing Yugito unleash her mouse hairball technique. Clashing with her while escaping, he was able to land a somewhat shallow attack on her that immediately begins repairing. The opportunity, however, allowed Bee to see where Tobi had implanted the black receivers in his 6 paths. After Naruto's attempt to destroy the receivers in Oroshi's chest was thwarted, Bee agreed with Gyuki that the forest was much too much of a hindrance for them and transformed into Gyuki to level the entire forest. Bee immediately moved to seal the revived Jinchuriki with his octopus hold technique, but it was unsuccessful as Tobi caused the Jinchuriki to enter version 2-like states. As they began counterattacking, Bee and Naruto tried to fend them off, but began feeling the pressures of fighting 6 powerful opponents. Bee was attacked by a fully transformed Han, who gored him with his horns and sent him flying, seemingly knocking him unconscious. After Bee came to, he asked Gyuki if it was alright, to which it replied that they were both wounded. After Tobi lost total control of the 5 tails and restrained it with a chakra chain, Bee attempted to crush him within Gyuki's fist, but Tobi simply slipped through it. As the 5 tails was being subdued, Bee and the 8 tails asked Naruto if he had also heard 5 tails' voice, and the 8 tails then lamented that seeing other tailed beasts treated that way naturally annoyed the rest of them. While Gyuki and the 9 tails were talking telepathically, Naruto suggested using shadow clones to create a diversion and allow them to strike Tobi. Bee urged Naruto not to, as he would die due to the 9 tails sucking away his chakra. However, Gyuki revealed that the 9 tails had seemingly stopped doing this for some time now due to Naruto's stable condition after using so much of the beast's chakra. He then got tossed away by a fully transformed Roshi. Bee was later impressed when Naruto managed to escape Son Goku's stomach using shadow clones. After Naruto successfully removed the black receiver, Bee watched on with shock as the beast was resealed into the demonic statue of the outer path in the blink of an eye. As Naruto rallies, telling the beast and Bee to get ready, it told him that he and Bee would take the front line while Naruto acted as support because he was still unable to transform into the 9 tails. After Naruto told them it would be fine because they were a pair of duos, he wondered whether Kurama had finally come around. As the battle began, to Bee's astonishment, Naruto assumed the form of his tailed beast before joining the fray. During Naruto's attack, Gyuki stopped the 3 tails from attacking him and also repelled another attack from the 5 tails. After the 3 tails freed itself from Gyuki's tentacles, they watched on as the 5 beasts prepared a collaborative tailed beast ball, and Naruto prepared to negate the attack with one of his own. As Gyuki wondered if Naruto would be able to do it, Bee told it that he almost did during his training, but he was sure that Naruto would be able to do it now. As the 2 tailed beast balls collided, Bee grabbed Roshi's body and protects himself from the after effects of the attack as he noted that Naruto hit the base of the other attack, allowing it to fly into the air. He later congratulated Naruto on freeing the other beast before advancing behind Naruto, Gaia, and Kakashi, prepared to fight Tobi directly. Later, as Naruto mocked Tobi with the information he had just learned, Bee looked on smirking. After the Jinchuriki's corpses are enveloped in a light of sorts as the impure world reincarnation technique is released, B told Naruto that they had to pick up the pace to compete with Itachi's contribution. He's later seen mobilized beside Naruto, Kakashi, and Guy as they prepare to assault Tobi and the demonic statue of the Outer Path. While the shinobi regroup and discuss the gash in Tobi's mask, B uses the opportunity to attack the statue. Moving in with a punch, he declared that the statue was wide open. However, this attack was deflected by Tobi's Uchiha Flame Formation barrier, which burned his hand. Telling Naruto that he was okay, B prepared to launch the strategy that Kakashi had developed. Holding all the shinobi in his hands, B threw the trio towards Tobi. When they regroup after Tobi's arm is hit by a seemingly unseen attack, B listened to Kakashi's explanation of Tobi's technique and then inquired if all space-time ninjutsu shared the same dimension. When told no, B told Naruto that it would still not be easy to land an attack on an intangible person. While Kakashi stated that their belief that Tobi was becoming intangible was incorrect, B inquired once again how it was possible for the two Sharingan to share the same dimension. As the battle against Tobi continued, Tobi shot multiple stakes at Gyuki and B, which are made to bind and suppress a tailed beast's power using his space-time ninjutsu. Incapable of assisting because of the stakes, B is left to observe as Naruto successfully breaks Tobi's mask, revealing his true identity as Obito Uchiha. When the real Madara arrived to the battlefield, B asked Naruto what this could mean for the Kage, distressed at the possibility of something happening to his brother. When Madara casually disregarded the situation, Naruto used his tails to free him of the stakes and threw him at the Uchiha. However, Madara easily blocked the stakes with a barrier. Madara then told Obito to handle Kakashi and Might Guy while he dealt with B and Naruto. As the battle with Madara ensued, B was seemingly knocked to the ground, leading the beast to comment on Madara's power. When an injured Guy told them that was why Madara was worth fighting, the beast told Guy he shouldn't be pushing himself so hard. As the battle waged on, he and Guy were restrained by Madara. Before the Uchiha could land the finishing blow, he is intercepted by Naruto. After Might Guy's daytime tiger sends the legendary ninja flying away from them, B noted that Guy wasn't just acting tough. After breaking free of his restraints, B warned Naruto that the wood could suppress a tailed beast's power before turning his attention to the statue. Forming a collaborative tailed beast ball with Naruto, B fires it at the statue and believes it to be destroyed. Their celebration, however, was cut short when the smoke cleared and the 10 tails appeared on the battlefield. Asking Kurama if it really wanted to fight that, Gyuki is told that it could not hide from the beast. Handing over Guy as per the fox's request, the two beasts were attacked by the 10 tails, surprising them with its speed. Ending up on either side of the beast, B signals to Gyuki to fire the continuous tailed beast balls at the beast. When the smoke cleared, Gyuki was nowhere to be seen. It was later revealed, as B announced their strategy, that Kakashi had warped them right above the 10 tails to launch a tailed beast ball at point-blank range. The 10 tails flicks his tailed beast ball back at him. With B's full transformation now having reached its limit, Gyuki tells B to buy some time while he generates more chakra to use. As the 10 tails fires a tailed beast ball, the attack is misdirected by the timely arrival of the entire allied shinobi forces. With the Alliance having bought enough time, B flew toward the 10 tails on the back of one of Sai's birds with his chakra now replenished. As the beast prepared to launch a tailed beast ball towards the shinobi, B transformed into the 8 tails and prepared a tailed beast ball of his own. Recklessly stuffing Gyuki's head into the beast's mouth, B was able to stop the attack as well as harm the 10 tails as both the tailed beast balls detonated inside of it. Casting aside Omoe's words of caution, he noted that when it came to protecting everyone, he was fearless. With the chakra shrouds protecting them dissipated, Naruto being healed, and Kurama needing more chakra, B and Gyuki announced that it was time for them to take center stage once again to buy the duo some time to recover, as Gyuki noted that 10 tails would become unstoppable if it underwent its final transformation. With Shikamaru's strategy initiated and the shinobi beginning to construct earthen, albeit feeble, defenses, B intercedes and attempts to throw the attack off trajectory. However, with none of their combined efforts seemingly working and the situation looking dire, the Alliance is saved by the arrival of the 4th Hokage, unbeknownst to them, as B looked unpuzzled as the attack had seemingly just vanished. Birth of the 10 Tails Jinchuriki. As Obito emerged within the barrier sometime later after sealing the beast inside himself, B asked Gyuki whether or not that was the beast's final form. Gyuki told him that it was not, and from all appearances it seemed that the beast had been sealed before reaching its final form. With the situation later turning grim as the Alliance was trapped in a barrier with a tailed beast ball firing tree, B and the other shinobi soon found themselves surrounded in previous version 1 mantles again. He noted to Gyuki that it had also must have felt Kurama's yin and yang habs merge. He and the others subsequently found themselves on the outside of the barrier, escaping the near-fatal attacks thanks to Naruto and Minato's action. When Obito later extracted the Ten Tails, which began transforming into a giant tree, Gyuki informed B that the Ten Tails had assumed its true and final form. As the roots of the tree chased B down, who complained about the volume of the roots that had come after him alone, Gyuki noticed that it was more likely because the tree sensed that he had more chakra than the other shinobi. Ultimately, while worn out, B, with Samehada's aid, was able to destroy the roots that had confronted him. When the Kage re-entered the battlefield, and A made his way over to where B was and exclaimed that they should get ready to fight, an excited B noted that it was time for the lightning release double lariat duo to fight. After Naruto and Sasuke combined their power, landing a critical hit on Obito and weakening his hold on the Ten Tails, Naruto begins to use the accumulated chakra he got from the other tailed beast to remove the Ten Tails from Obito, stopping the flower atop the tree from blooming. Though successful in their venture, and as Obito lay defeated, a new threat reared its head against the extracted tailed beasts, a revived Madara Uchiha. Reuniting with the other tailed beasts after having evacuated the wounded shinobi to a safe location, the Uchiha was able to bind the beasts with the demonic statue chains and began dragging them towards the statue which he had extracted from Obito. Struggling against his confines, as he's dragged even closer to the looming threat, B severs one of his tentacles. Gyuki apologizes to B as it's extracted and sealed within the statue among with the other tailed beasts. Despite having suffered the extraction of his tailed beast, B was later shown to have survived by using the chakra of Gyuki's previously severed tail. Later, with Madara having succeeded in obtaining the Rinnegan power of both his eyes and becoming the Ten Tails Jinchuriki, the revived Uchiha finally cast Infinite Tsukiyomi, shocking B. In the anime, Killer B dreamed of a world where all Jinchuriki were either wanted fugitives or confined to their villages, if not imprisoned, and their respective tailed beasts were manifested as chibi familiars of themselves, but their respective power was diminished. Following a personal mission, B teamed up with Yugito to save Gaara from Sunagakure. Upon making Gaara agree to help, they saved and recruited Naruto from Konohagakure. Upon reaching Takigakure to save Fu, they were intercepted by Itachi, Sasori, and Deidara. After Fu arrives to help and Itachi suddenly decides to defect from Akatsuki, the remaining enemies retreat. Fu then agrees to join the other Jinchuriki. B then explained that the Ten Tails was partially resurrected by the Akatsuki and stole most of the Jinchuriki power, planning to use the creature to attack a princess. With Yagura still missing, the newly formed team split up, with B paired with Han. The duo managed to find Yagura in time to complete their team and fight off the Akatsuki, destroying the demonic statue. Kaguya Ōtsutsuki strikes. Ultimately, he and the rest of the world were freed from the Genjutsu by Naruto and Sasuke after they ended the war. Ultimately, Gyuki decided to return to B, where the tailed beast was later resealed into B. In the anime, having arrived in Konoha on the day Kakashi became Hokage, B and the Raikage's entourage met with Naruto, leading him to bumping fists with a battered Naruto. The last, Naruto the movie. 2 years following the Fourth Shinobi World War, after meteors began frequently hitting the planet, a Kage summit was convened. Killer B accompanied his brother to it. Killer B and his brother later use a special chakra weapon to destroy the fragments heading towards the planet. During Naruto's fight with Toneri Ōtsutsuki, A instructs B to destroy the moon to ensure it does not fall to them once the hour time limit is up. B refuses, stating he will not kill Naruto and his friends. Luckily, Naruto defeated Toneri and stopped the moon in time. Konoha Hiden, the perfect day for a wedding. Killer B is one of the many visitors that attends Naruto and Hinata Hyuga's wedding. New era. 13 years after the moon collision event, B complained about how bored he was and considered going to see how Naruto was doing, only for Gyuki to note that Naruto was probably busy, unlike B. Versus Momoshiki Arc. Approached by members of the Ōtsutsuki clan in their search for Kaguya's scattered chakra, they attacked B, prompting him to transform into Gyuki. During the fight, he was immobilized and attacked Momoshiki and Kinshiki with a tailed beast ball, which Momoshiki absorbed and redirected at him after amplifying its strength. Unable to dodge, B was engulfed in the blast, during which he made an octopus leg clone. Upon the clone being captured by the clansmen, it fooled them into thinking it was the real B, leading to its chakra being extracted and converted into a few pills before they continued their search. The ordeal left Gyuki unable to contact the other tailed beasts. Afterwards, B returned to Kumogakure. Did you enjoy our video? Make sure to check out these other great videos from the Amagi, and make sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.